Hi, cheers. Welcome to Foothills' first virtual beer school. I'm Sarah Bartholomaus. I have my daughter Emma here helping me record. I normally do this at the pub, so I hopefully have seen some of you there to either give you a beer school or a tour. But since we are quarantining at home, which probably a lot of you are, we wanted to switch it up a little bit, and this is our way to engage with you and connect, to say thank you for all your support. Thanks for your support of Foothills. Thanks for your support of all local businesses. And also thanks to all the essential workers that are out there still on the front line, from the nurses and restaurant employees, our wonderful restaurant employees and brewery workers who are in there still making it happen. Thank you so much. So the format's a little different, so bear with me here. Today we're going to focus on the Hoppyum IPA, and I'll give you a little background on that. But first, let's talk about some of the basics of beer. Beer has been made for over 10,000 years. It predates written language, so beer has been around for thousands and thousands of years. Beer has four main ingredients: water, grain, hops, and yeast. Anything besides that is considered an adjunct. Water is super important because, beer is mostly water, but it is also used in cleaning and sanitation, which is so important for a brewery. Grain is usually malted so that it's better used in the brewing process. We use malted barley, we use malted wheat, we use some oats, we used rye. We don't use corn or rice because we don't think they give beer a really great flavor. Hops give us bitterness. They give us flavor and aroma. They are a natural preservative in beer. And then yeast. Yeast is responsible for fermentation. Yeast is important because it gives the yeast eat the sugar and give us alcohol and CO2. So without yeast, we would just have sugar water or wort. Beer is the third most consumed beverage in the world after water and tea. And craft beer accounts for almost 25% of overall beer sales in the U.S. So again, thank you. We appreciate your support. Some beer terminology. You have one thing that we do on all of our beers is you might see some abbreviations. You'll see these abbreviations on our beer labels. IBU, which stands for International Bitterness Unit, that correlates to the amount of and type of hops that we use in our beer. You could use it to gauge the bitterness of a beer. ABV, or alcohol by volume, that lets you know the alcohol content that's in a beer. And then SRM is standard reference method, and that's used to measure the color of a beer. So how dark is the beer? The darker the beer, the higher the SRM. The lighter the beer, lighter in color, the lower the SRM. And one note that I like to make is that color and alcohol strength are not related. So you could have a beer that's very light in color and be very high in alcohol, like our Maibach. That's a seasonal that we do. And then you also have a beer you have beers that are dark in color, but that are light in alcohol. So don't let the color of a beer fool you. A little history of IPA. IPA is one of the more popular beer styles today. Our Hoppyum is an IPA. That stands for India Pale Ale. The name comes from when the beer was sent to the British troops when they were stationed in India back in the 18th century. English brewers created this beer style with lots of hops to withstand the long voyage across the sea. And what we know now, that there is an oil in the lupulin gland of the hop that is a natural preservative. So it helped the beer keep on that long voyage overseas. And when you taste an IPA, and if you like bitter beers, you really grow accustomed to that delicious bitterness. So IPA is actually one of the more popular beer styles today, and something that we make a lot of. Jamie and TL both love their hops, so we tend to make hoppier beers. Our Hoppyum IPA is our flagship beer. We use Simcoe, Columbus, and Centennial hops. They're pungent, piney, resinous, and citrusy flavors, give a lot of aroma. And the Cara malts, which is one of our main malted barleys, adds sweet nuttiness and body to help the balance and bitterness of this beer. The malts that we use, British Pale and Caramel 20, and then the hops are Simcoe, Columbus, Centennial, and Cascade. So back to the abbreviations, this beer has 6.3 ABV, or alcohol by volume, 70 IBUs, and again that measures the bitterness of the beer, and 5.7 SRM, or the color of the beer. And a great food pairing is, it pairs well with strong, bold, rich flavors. This would go great with our fish and chips, with our buffalo chicken wrap at the pub. Lots of yummy dishes. This can also be bought in our hot box. So you might see this out in the market at your favorite grocery store. But the hot box, if you like a hoppy beer, if you like something with high IBUs, try our hot box. It showcases 4 of our different IPAs or pale ales, even a double IPA in there. And it's a perfect package for sampling. And it's a great way to try some of our different beers that we do. So again, thanks for everything. Hope you're staying safe. Hope you're staying well. And we look forward to seeing you again soon whenever we're able to all be together again. Cheers.